This is Jenna Ortega dancing as Wednesday Addams, and for some reason I can't stop watching it. It gives me goosebumps. The combination of her stone-cold expressions, mix of flamenco and goth dancing, the lighting, the dress, the music, just scratches a part of my brain in the same way that I assume putting on the Teletubbies does for a 4-year-old. And I'm not the only one. This dance appears to have made many others turn into feral, goth-loving Wednesday appreciators, proliferating into dance trends and an instant appreciation for Ortega. This video is not going to be an attempt to explain why I find girls doing the Kubrick stare weirdly attractive. What I want to explore is something I found interesting about the background of the video. Despite choreographing this scene, Ortega recently stated that she is neither a professional dancer nor choreographer. She just really likes this character and wanted to do an honest homage. And I do think this is evident in the awkwardness of the dance. She admits to being extremely nervous and insecure about how the scene would be received, and yet the charm of this homage to a character she loves has received widespread acclaim. The dance, for many, is goosebump evoking. So what's the deal? Goosebumps, as Theodor Adorno has stated, is the first aesthetic image. It is seemingly protective, signaling a clash or collision with the other, with something that could be a threat in some form. A sunset, a beautiful song, reuniting with a loved one, and also, just as importantly, a sad movie, a funeral, and confronting a radical idea. It is experiencing our capacity to shudder. However, as Byung-Chul Han notes in his recent book, The Palliative Society, this ability for art to bring about the dawn of the other has lost its appeal. Instead, we live in a society of the like, characterized by a pathologically thumb-exhausting need to engage in liking. The like smooths things out. In the same way that anesthesia eases our pain, so too does the like ensure that nothing is meant to cause pain. Anything subversive, radical, or imperfect falls outside of it. As he writes, everything is smoothed out until it becomes agreeable and well-liked. Not just art, but life itself should be Instagrammable, that is, free of rough edges, of conflict or contradictions that could cause pain. As noted, this largely stems from a collective aversion to pain. We are algophobic, scared of pain, living in a society that extinguishes any negativity in the service of positivity. This is generally because, well, positivity ensures the smooth operating of things. Market exchange and commodification requires quick and smooth communication. Pain is a sign of weakness in such a system. It is the clash of the other, of something different and potentially subversive. He writes, "The hell of the same is a palliative comfort zone. Pain is driven out of it because it disturbs the circulation of communication, which must be accelerated. Communication is fastest where the same meets the same. It is accelerated by the like. Pain, by contrast, counteracts it. It creates an inclination to fall silent. This inclination is what would allow for something altogether different to occur." This aversion to pain is deeply troubling. It removes us from the truth, or what is real, in terms of political, social, and even personal knowledge. Simply put, we cannot deny pain. For example, pain enhances our self-perception. When we are injured, we become acutely aware of ourselves. I feel pain, therefore I am. Here, Byung-Chul Han notes the rise in self-harm as potentially emerging through the desire to feel something true. Here's another example. Upon separation from someone we love, we usually cannot tell if the relationship was real or true until afterwards. It is only after we feel the pain of the absence of a lover where we know that we have truly loved. Why does pain bring us to the truth? Why is the truth painful? To answer this is to reframe our idea of what is real. Under Hegelian terms, the real isn't some underlying essential core or substance waiting to emerge. Instead, it emerges through conflict, through antagonism. It's a gap. Pain is the product of this conflict. As Žižek writes, the status of the real is purely parallactic, and as such non-substantial. It has no substantial density in itself. It is just a gap between 2 points of perspective, perceptible only in the shift from one to the other. It is not the hard core which persists as the same, but the hard bone of contention which pulverizes the sameness into the multitude of appearances. The purpose of art, historically, was to represent or spur this shift. This is Adorno's idea of art as presenting us with a foreignness to the world. It did not necessarily serve to make us feel good, but rather to alienate, irritate, disturb, and even be painful. It allows for the other to enter and provide a radical counterbalance to the dominating order. This is why the society of the like has been so damaging to art. Art has been forced to conform to this process of anesthetization, neatly packaged and lacking in any potentially painful elements. To be likable is to be the same, not different. Byung-Chul Han argues that this is dually caused by the economization of culture and the culturalization of the economy. Firstly, cultural products such as art have become increasingly commodified. To be consumable is to be likable, and so artists that can have their work neatly fit onto a shirt or easily sponsorable are pushed ahead of the less likable, even if the less likable is closer to the truth. Because what is closer to the truth could also be potentially painful. And we don't like that, do we? Strangely, consumer products are also moving closer to bear a cultural surplus value. Cheaply made shirts are framed like paintings, and smartphones are fetishistically rotated in stunning display. Design and the promise of certain lifestyles become more important than their actual utility. What we end up experiencing is a strange blend of consumerism and art, where artists are forced to, or willingly choose to, become brands, and forms of production attempt to adopt creativity in the design of their products. This is a dead end, however, especially if we are interested in the truth. Creativity as an economic strategy only permits variations of the same. It does not have access to what is wholly other. It lacks the negativity of a break which hurts. Pain and commerce are mutually exclusive. That's why when something different comes along, we all really feel it. It feels like the entrance of something new, which can at times be painful. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to serve an explicit political goal or represent itself as deliberately subversive. The more important aspect, I think, is that it does not strive to be likable, an especially difficult task for creators such as YouTubers whose livelihood is literally dictated by a like button. Let's say you do make something that evokes goosebumps. Ironically, we tend to gravitate towards that which flies in the face of trying to be likable. In the process, anything genuine is quickly churned through the processing plant of dance trends, copycats, and aesthetic starter packs. If it ever was subversive, the society of the like will make sure it's tampered to soul-sucking sameness. Now, the Wednesday dance is extremely far from anything subversive. It's a scene from a cheesy Netflix show with an attractive girl dancing to a catchy song. And yet there is something about the shameless absence of trying to be likable within the dance. This, paired with the noted pain in the form of insecurity and vulnerability that Ortega felt while filming this scene, may explain why it was so captivating for many. It just feels true. That's why, beyond Hegel, Žižek, or Han, I think it's actually Wednesday Addams who provides us with the most succinct ethos for the contemporary content creator. I act as if I don't care if people dislike me. Deep down, I secretly enjoy it.